I mean, the idea is to basically start working on timing because the number of questions would have increased for the stipulated 4 hours. So you don't have
Yeah,
to time yourself for every single question. You're essentially more concerned about the average time per question.
yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. So how do I start doing that? Because my accuracy is now in the 95 to 100 range.
You let the timer run in the background, you
Hmm.
solve 10 questions and see how much time does it take for you to get that 95-100% accuracy at this point. Like how much time are you comfortable with? Do it in a gradual phased out manner where every day you set yourself a target of reducing 15 seconds per question. And if you set yourself a target to reduce 15 seconds a question, it won't seem like a lot, but in just 1 week, you would be able to not only like meet the target, but actually exceed it. Work on the content I've shared with you because that's curated content. I wanted to reduce the time per question here. Once you've reduced the time per question here to less than 2 minutes per question, you start focusing on the GMAC mocks. After you take the GMAC mock, we'll obviously connect, understand what are the other things that you need to work on. Once you have a good grasp of what GMAT is all about, then even you would have that judgment to say that this is a good quality question and this is a bad quality question. So then you won't really take it on your ego that, okay, how did I get this wrong? And it will basically demoralize you. So get the content done with, then take the GMAC mock. Depending on the mock performance, I'll let you know if in case sectional tests is the way to go, or should you double down on the full length tests themselves. It's more about analysis, it's more about strategy than it's about actual practice on the GMAT. So once you've got the analysis right and the strategy right, you execute on that just for enough time to be able to internalize those points, and then you take another mock and test yourself out.
But what hits me is that I couldn't get the 51 quant. I don't know how I can bridge that gap. So
if you're completing, let's say, a word problems kind of a topic in 3 days, and that has around 6 to 7, let's say, subtopics in it, I'm fairly certain that those topics on those questions themselves can keep you packed for whatever time you have in the day. When you're focusing essentially on the traps aspect of it, trust me, like we kind of covered pretty much everything during the classes in terms of traps and what are the things for you to be able to take care of, strategy-wise, tips-wise. So once you've covered everything and it comes to the application in mixed bag kind of a content, you'll actually be able to improve a lot faster. So it has to be more strategic with respect to understanding where are you falling short. And where you're falling short is not necessarily something that would be addressed in a book or in a class. So that's something that you quickly understand after analyzing your patterns of mistakes as to what is it that is making you fall for a wrong answer for a certain question. It's clearly not time. It's clearly not concepts. It must be something in terms of language or in terms of traps that you need to look at. You will be able to see yourself bridging that gap of 50 to 51, or let's say 90th to 100th percentile loosely. Are the marathon sessions helping? How are the classes overall for you? Because the reason I'm asking for it is that the weekday program is not something that's everyone's cup of tea, right? It's a little intensive, and you would have seen people in the class also saying the same thing that, okay, with work, it becomes a little unmanageable.
Yeah, so I'm not doing work, so it's probably easier for me. But I feel the marathon sessions, not more than 2-3 people are really into it. So that's why earlier I used to do it with the group.
Does that peer-to-peer discussion help?
Yeah, mostly it does, because I feel like if they're thinking on the same lines, probably there's one person in that 12, 7, 8 people group who does have a different thought. And that really is the thought you're needing at some point.
Overall organization of the classes with the daily classes, do you think it's helping you to stay consistent?
Yeah, it's much better than the weekend program. So I'm able to do something at least every day. If I'm busy for a day, I'll try to at least do the basic homework.
No, that's exactly the point. Like, I know there are some people who obviously have not just more time, but they have a better grasp on the topic. So if you've got a better grasp on the topic, in the stipulated 2 hours only, you can get done more, right? So that's basically try to prioritize, like, okay, this is the bare minimum, and then you have some extra work that you can possibly do. Anything else that you think possibly can help you to learn better? Because I'm just trying to essentially make sure that the course is as efficient and effective as possible.
No, I feel like we're doing 3 to 4 questions a class, so you can't go slower than that. I mean, that's the bare minimum we can do in 1.5 hours. So that way the speed is fine and everybody is on board.
Because I know for a fact that people haven't really put in the thought in completing the homework. So when I'm discussing the questions in the class, like most of them are completely lost because they don't have the background, they haven't put in the work, right? You prompt in the chat, but some people, like, I have to ask them, like, what's happening? I can't see your face. I don't know what's happening at your end. So what I'm planning to do right now is that I'm planning to essentially do questions in the class itself, where I give them questions to solve with me, give them 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, to whatever extent they can think on it. At least they'll have some background to be able to understand what I'm saying. When I directly start with the discussion, because I expect them to complete the homework and most of them haven't done it, then the entire class slows down because I just end up like, sometimes over analyzing a question because I think people haven't still got it. But I believe in the weekend course, what I tend to do is that I do questions live with them in the class. I don't give them homework for the worksheets. We do worksheets in the class. So I can probably just shortlist questions to make sure that we're focusing on the right questions during the class.
Yeah, you had discussed this once that probably you guys can join at 7 o'clock instead of 7:30. So,
Yeah.
but that didn't happen. So I thought that that's a good idea for people who are not able to take out time.